got a story to tell you. Alrighty. Hey, thank you folks. Do appreciate it a lot. Those of you that are joining me for the first time today, I'm the shooting guy. Those of you that have been around a while, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing. If you're a Patreon patron, thank you for that. If you've done neither, consider subscribing, please. And if you're not a Patreon patron now and would like to contribute to the things we do around here, I've got a link. It's going to pop up in the thing over here or over here. I do that all the time. Consider it, please. It will help us continue with our endeavors here, and it helps support my family. Do appreciate it. Also, there are going to be links in the description down below in the comments section too, probably, for a few things we're going to talk about today. And if you decide to purchase it, purchase something that we talk about, make sure you use my links, because that supports my family as well. And for that, I appreciate it. So here's the story. And I'll try to make it as brief as possible, and then we'll get down to what I'm going to show you here, and at least my opinion on something. A few days back, here in the state of Texas, we have, as many states I guess do, have a safety inspection time every year. At least in Texas, it's every year, where you got to bring your vehicle in, and before you get it re-registered and pay your license fees, your license plate fees, registration fees, you get a little safety inspection, and they just make sure everything's working. You got tread on the tires, and at least in my county, there are 10 little points that they take a look at just to make sure it's a safe vehicle, and it's not a bad idea. In my opinion, it's a great $7 revenue from every single person that owns a vehicle, or maybe more than one vehicle. Trailers are included in that. So, and the folks that administer the test, they don't get paid. They have to do it for free. I'm sure they might get some tax break for as many as they do somehow, maybe. But anyway, you pay your $7, you get a certificate, you get your car redone. As a public service announcement, I'd like to point out that this is just a tax on the people. There are roughly 8.5 million vehicles registered in the state of Texas, and if you put $7 to each one of those, that's roughly $60 million. And the safety inspections do nothing to make our roads safer. The only way to get our roads safer is to get the drivers off the road. I've been frequenting a local shop that does all my oil changes for me. Very local, always done well for me, and I highly recommend them for that. And I'm not going to use any names. If you want to know who I'm using, you can always direct mail me, DM me, and I'll share it with you. But it's kind of particular to this area, so if you're not in this area, it won't matter much. But I've had some interesting experiences with them lately. The other day, like I said, I needed to get my safety inspection. I brought it in. The young lad who met me at my door as I was getting out of the truck said, looks like we need, because we have a sticker on the window, and it looks like we need a safety inspection. I said, yes, sir, we do. Can you help me with that? He goes, I'd be happy to. And let me see your information for the car and all that. Gave him that. And then one interesting question he said is, would you like me to check the tire pressure? And I'm thinking to myself, shouldn't that be one of the safety inspection items anyway? Thinking to myself. And I said, yeah, that would be nice. If you would do that, please. And then he asked me, what tire pressure would you like it at? And it's, for those of you that tow trailers and stuff, you know that depending on the time of year, how much weight you're pulling and all of that, you may want a specific tire pressure to accommodate your weight and your speeds that you need to go and all that. So fairly common question, at least to me it was. And I said, well, just make it manufacturer's suggested. And quite frankly, I can't remember what that is. And before I get anything out, he said, oh, yep, that's right on the rocker panel right here, because I have my door open. He points down there, and I went, you're absolutely right. So just set it, make sure it's set to that at least, and I'll be fine. He goes, no problem. So I passed my safety inspection with flying colors. Awesome. I get in the car, in the truck, I back out, I start driving home, and everything is fine. Speed limit is around 40 miles an hour, and that's all I got up to. Well, the next day, I have to get on a faster highway, and I get up to about 50 miles an hour, and my whole front end of the truck just starts hopping up and down. It's bouncing like the tires are out of balance. And I know that they don't mess with brakes, they don't mess with any of that. They didn't take the tires off, they didn't do any of that. But he did check the air pressure. And I thought, I better check this out for myself. So I took my trusty, tire gauge. It's a passive tire gauge thing. Popped it on the front tires. That's right, he had it set at 80 pounds. The recommended pressure is 60 pounds. So he overinflated it by about 20 pounds. And I thought, oh, okay, that's probably what's happening. It's oscillating because I'm spinning around, and it's bouncing like a basketball. All right, I'll just bleed some of that air out. I thought, well, I'll go down and I'll talk to, I know the manager and the assistant manager. They're nice folk. And I figured, well, I'll just go tell them what happened so that they can properly educate their young lad. He was probably 17 years old. And, that way he would know, and then, he wouldn't do it again, hopefully. And so anyway, and I drove it around a little bit, and it was a little better, but something got jacked up, and I'm not sure exactly what happened. So the next day, because that day I had some other things doing around here, around the place, so the next day I had to go out. So the first thing I did was I stopped over there, and I told them of the experience, and they were like, wow. Okay, that seems kind of funny, but let's check everything underneath, drive it in the bay, and we'll make sure that everything's tightened up, the shock absorbers, all of that. And I said, that would be great, thank you. So they're very helpful, very cooperative, and the manager, who was the one that did it, who's an experienced mechanic, keep in mind, they don't do anything other than change fluids, change oil, change transmission fluid, put in windshield wiper fluid, that kind of thing. But the manager's an experienced guy. So anyway, he took a look underneath and he goes, man, everything looks really good. Everything's locked down tight. Maybe it's a fluke, but we're gonna set your tire pressure and make sure it's proper. So he asked me what would I want it at, and I said, well, I'm just doing mostly highway, so whatever highway would be, it's probably 60, 65. And or so per tire. And he goes, well, typically guys like this will put a little less weight up front, a little less pressure up front, and a little more pressure in the back in case they're going to tow within about 5 pounds, which means he'll put the front tires 5 pounds or right on, and then the back tires 5 pounds more. And I said, all right, we'll give that a try, see what happens. Supposedly does that. Everything checked out. The young lad was the one that did it, and you probably know where I'm going with this, right? And long story short, he had put 40 pounds of pressure in the front tires and 60 pounds in the back, because I'm driving on the highway that night to go pick up the shooting kid. He was working with his boss, and I went to go pick him up at his boss's house. And I pull over and whip out my trusty tire gauge, because I thought, doggone it, I bet you something went sideways, because the tire pressure thing came on. And I thought maybe I have a leak, whatever. I check it, 40 pounds. Yeah, 40 pounds up front. What the heck? So I drive into the gas station, and then I found the tire pressure or tire pump thing, the air compressor that they sometimes have at a gas station. And I pull up next to that, and lo and behold, quarters, $1.50. And I thought, okay, I don't have any quarters. I don't have that many quarters with me. But they would take a credit card for $1.75. I thought, okay, I'll bite. I'll stick my credit card in there. And I kind of looked things over, and it, seemed okay. Almost $2 for 5 minutes of air, so I can make sure I got air in all my tires, so I can get to my destination. I turn it on, put my credit card in, press the button, it starts going. I take the thing that goes on the valve, the Schrader valve on the car, on the tire, and all of a sudden air is coming out of the tire, and then I realize the hose on that compressor is cracked, and it's actually taking air out. So now I'm down to 30 pounds of pressure because it came out almost, 10 pounds really fast. Then I got a little miffed, and I won't get into all the things that I did. There was a phone number to call and all of that. Then I realized, you know what I have in the back of the car? Because I forgot I put it in the Ford. I've always had it in the Toyota because my wife drives the Toyota quite a bit, and I wanted to make sure she had it. A portable air compressor. This one happens to be a Craftsman, 12 volt, 250 psi air compressor inflator with air valve. It saved my bacon because now I'm stranded. I have 30 pounds of pressure in one of my tires, 40 in the other. I wasn't going to ruin, all of that. Oh, by the way, the back tires, they were at 63. Yeah, didn't even get it to 65. Anyway, I'm going to show you this a little bit. Now, I'm not paid by Craftsman, not at all. I just happen to have it. And my word to the wise is that if you don't have something like this in your car or in your truck right now, you probably want one. It saved me. Now, it's not the fastest pumper in the world. It probably took, to get from 30 to around 61 pounds, because that's what I put in those front tires. And on that one tire, it probably took 5 minutes, 6 minutes. It took a while. And then, so 10 minutes total, 15 minutes probably all together to get this thing out. Pumped up my front tires, and in 15 minutes, I'm on my way. And fortunately, that's why I was checking the tire pressure. Everything is the way it was, the way I left it last night. To add insult to injury, folks, it started to rain. And I got soaking wet, although it was 80 degrees, so it wasn't so bad. But had I not had this, I don't know what I would have done. Probably called my wife and said, could you come with the Toyota? Because I thought it was in there, but fortunately it was in mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and get myself another one of these, or something like it, and put it in the Toyota to make sure that she still has one, and then I can have one in my vehicle. And my recommendation to you is to make sure that you have one. Some of the cool things, let's pull the camera down and we can look at this on the table. Okay, so what I might do is show an actual demonstration of this thing on a tire so you can see. But before I do that, there are some pretty cool things about this particular compressor. Well, I'm going to start with the cons. It's only 12 volts, so I can't use it in a regular electrical outlet. It only plugs into your cigarette lighter, which is fine because it's designed to save your life when you're in your car or truck. It's about a 10-foot long cord. Here's your 12-volt cigarette lighter receptacle, plugs right in. The little tire gauge, it's got a tire gauge built in, pressure gauge. It'll light up. And what's cool about this is you can unplug it here. Let's get this thing unplugged. Turn this thing a little bit. Pull that out, and there you go. There you go, see? Then you turn this baby on. The problem is you got to put batteries in, and I don't have any batteries in this, but you would press the on button, and it'll read tire pressure. Fine. But if you have it plugged in, because there's a little plug-in thing here that goes in like that, like this, and you screw that baby down in there. And then when you plug this in, it lights up, and it'll read pressure, so you don't need a battery. Okay, and then let's pull this around. This comes out. You've got about, I don't know, 24 inches? Yeah. A couple feet of hose, which, 10 feet of this will sit on the ground. This will pretty much reach anywhere on your tire, wherever your valve is, and if not, you can always move it a little bit. Mine happened to be a little bit higher, so it was kicked up like that, but that's okay. And it's got a nice metal locking device, which is great. Better than plastic, that's for darn sure. And stick that on there, stick it on the valve. Then it's got normal, which is, you turn it on, it just starts pumping and it reads pressure. And when you get up to the desired pressure, you just turn it off. You could set it to preset, and before you do that, you would plus and minus, you'd get up to, let's say, 60 pounds, and then you hit preset, and you walk away. Get in the car because it's raining and let it do its thing. And then when it gets to 60 pounds, it shuts off. Perfect. All right, and then you turn this guy off, go to your other tire, repeat that, and you're done. And then it's all in a nice little neat package. It comes with a couple of cool things, like if you wanted to blow up your air mattress, you got that. This is for your, you know, your football, your basketball, whatever. And then there's a couple of other attachments here to switch from Schrader style to some other valve. So it's pretty pretty universal. It's gonna help. Oh, let's put this back in. It's gonna do you good. So watch for those kinds of things. Make sure that there are options like that. And then inside this thing, it got jammed inside of here, but I have to. Oh, there you go. You take this out, and that attaches to that other thing, and then you could. It's got a different valve. Oh, and I guess you could put it on this, and also use it on here. So that's pretty convenient. Do you want to go outside and take a look at that? Let me give me just a minute. We'll go pump up the tire and I'll show it to you. Alright, there you go. You saw it, folks. Pretty easy. Might save your life. Well, maybe not your life, but at least get you on the road again in case something goofy like that happens. I would probably recommend one other thing. If you have a way to do an emergency tire repair, also have that in your car or truck as well, because you never know, right? And I didn't expect that to happen to me, but I was prepared, so I'm concerned for you all, and I would say be prepared. All right, guys, I love you all. Don't forget, ring that bell so that you can get notified when the video comes out. All right. If you got any comments or questions, or if you have any other ideas that could be helpful when you're on the road, leave comments down below in the comment section. That would be great, and I'd love to interact with you down there. We'll see you next time. God bless you. God bless America. May America bless God. Oh, you may be wondering why I'm going all cowboy? The mayor of Waco has said you gotta wear a face mask whenever going into a public place now. So when I go to the bank, I go like this.